Morning everyone from not so sunny Aberdeenshire. As promised, a little chat about what we can all be doing with our puppies and dogs during lockdown to keep them entertained, keep them mentally healthy and keep them exercised, and also keep them calm and give them lots of enrichment. So first of all, we're going to talk about socialisation briefly. And I know everyone with their puppies is really worried about this because, of course, they can't get them out to the local park, or there are not so many people in the local park with other puppies to meet and socialise with. That's not necessarily such a bad thing in my book, because socialisation for me is all about your puppy or your dog learning to be a well-behaved and polite member of society, wherever you are, wherever you go and whatever you do. And that's what you should be thinking of when you are thinking about socialising your puppy. You shouldn't be facilitating him going out and playing with every single puppy he meets and every single person he comes across he wants to say hello, because then you're just going to become the person in the background that's not very interesting to your puppy. You're going to be giving all of that value away, and it's going to sit with those other puppies and those other people outside, which is definitely what you don't want. So really don't worry too much about that. There's lots of stuff on the group here, if you trawl through and have a look at the videos, of things that you should be doing and could be doing with your puppy, which I'll mention in a moment. Number one for me is all about hand feeding and building a great relationship between myself and my puppy or my dog. Any age, rescue dogs as well, start hand feeding and start having fun, playing games. Look at the focus games in the videos on here and start playing some of those daily, just a few minutes at a time. You'll be amazed at how much that builds your relationship and the focus you start to receive from your dog as a result. You can play that in the house, in the garden, and that's where you should start. All training should start at home, where distractions are low and your dog feels comfortable and happy. Now, calmness and enrichment should be a big part of any dog's day, and puppies in particular. So things like scatter feeding some of his daily food allowance on your lawn for him to sniff out and look for. Anything that involves sniffing, licking, chewing, biting, they are all calming and brain engaging activities. And you'll find that the more enrichment and the more calmness you introduce into your dog's day, the better behaved he will become, because the arousal levels will come right down and he'll start to lead a calmer existence. So there's lots about that in the group as well. Do look for things to do there. I did some search work with my two this morning, which just involved simple cardboard boxes. I'll post that for you all later so that you can have a look and see how to do it. So calmness and enrichment should be part of your dog's daily routine without a doubt. So do find out more about that. I'm going to put up a link for a Facebook page called Canine Enrichment for those of you who don't already know about it. Do go in there and have a look and see what some people are doing with their dogs. There are some great examples in there, which I'm sure many of you will find really useful. Okay. Do always introduce some alone time to your puppies and your dogs. Always anyway, but especially in lockdown, because of course in lockdown we're with our dogs or puppies all the time if we're not able to go to work. So what happens when we do go back to work? You know, your puppy needs to know it's okay to be on his own. So have a look at the alone time sheet that I've posted in the group as well. A lot of stuff you'll find in the files. A lot of stuff is in videos if you scroll right down to the bottom of the group. Any behaviour that you don't like or don't want. For example, people often say to me, oh, my dog's out in the garden barking, he won't stop barking. Or he's digging holes in my garden, he's ruining my garden. This comes under the heading of management whilst we're training. So I wouldn't let my puppy or my dog hang out in the garden on his own, especially if he's doing things like that. So I go out with my puppies on a lead or a long line. They go toilet. which I introduce a cue to, and then they come straight back in again. And any enrichment and activity that they take part in is with me myself. Their downtime is always on their bed or in their crate with their enrichment. And by the way, puppies should be having 18 hours good sleep a day. If they're not, then you will find that they're biting, mouthing, jumping up. That kind of behaviour is much, much worse if they're not getting proper rest. So do make sure they have enough rest as well. That goes for older dogs too. They should be sleeping for 14, 16 hours a day, and they need to be having that sleep. Or again, it adds to that arousal level, which we don't want. So do think about managing behaviour. Use crates, gates, anything else in place that you need to stop unwanted behaviours. What we want to try and do is teach go-to behaviours. So those are the things that we are training, the food-focused games, the behaviours we want, such as sit when we ask, come back when we want you to, wait when we ask you to. Those are the behaviours we want. So those are the behaviours we should be teaching more, rather than just allowing our dogs to make their own decisions and have lots of free time in the garden to decide to bark, for example. Out and about, you can play the games that you've taught at home. Do engage your dogs and puppies with you when you're outside on a walk. The more you create these games as go-to behaviours, the more they're going to become a habit that you can use wherever you are. If you go to an environment and you find that your dog won't concentrate or can't concentrate because there's too much going on, that means you're in an environment that's perhaps a bit too distracting for the stage he's at in his training. Or you can try asking him for just a simple behaviour, such as a sit and a look, rather than a complicated behavioural exercise. Keep it simple. Think about where you are, what's going on, and what you might need to do to get the behaviours that you want to see. Anyway, I hope that's helped, guys, and do go and look in all the files and watch some of the videos on the group. I'll post a few calming and enrichment games later in the day for you to all have a watch, and then have a little go at with your puppies and your dogs. Remember, your dogs need enrichment too, not just for puppies. Your dogs need to be taught how to be calm, and licking, sucking, biting, chewing, sniffing. Those are all fantastic ways to teach calmness and promote calmness. And your dog should be enjoying that every day. So I hope that little chat has helped everybody. Do post any little questions you do have in the group. I'm going to go live for a question and answer session on my paid membership group later. So for those of you who are in that group, I will see you all later. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day with the dogs.